A very good evening to you and welcome. You're watching Rupavahini.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Chamindi Samrasekara.
And Amasha Kaminidin. The second reading of the 2014 budget was passed in Parliament by a majority of 99 votes. 154 members voted in support of the budget while 55 members voted against it. Members of the United National Party, Tamil National Alliance and Democratic National Alliance voted against the budget. The concluding speech of the second reading of the budget was made by Minister of Economic Development Basil Rajapaksa. The debate was held for 7 days from the 22nd of this month. Minister Basil Rajapaksa said that in the year 2005, only 77.5 million had been invested in infrastructure development. This amount was increased to 317.6 billion by 2012. The minister pointed out that the government has built agricultural roads, rural roads, provincial council roads, local government institution roads by linking 16,000 villages and 14,000 Grama Niladhara divisions. Steps are now being taken to link 36,000 villages by concreting more roads, and today there is no underdeveloped road in the 14,000 Grama Niladhara divisions. The minister said that under the Gamanagama and Maganagama projects, at least one project has been implemented and at least one road has been developed. The minister has also carried out irrigation development activities and cultivation of fallow paddy lands. He recalled that the imperialists destroyed the self-sufficient economy that existed in the country, the sovereignty of the country, the proud nature of our people, and created means to demoralize the population of this country and change their mental attitudes. The minister pointed out that for the first time since then the country has turned self-sufficient in rice, and it was possible because of the dedication of our farming community.
Members of Parliament have expressed their strong opposition on the speeches made in the Parliament by the Tamil National Alliance MP S. Sridharan and the United National Party MP R. Yogarajan. They condemned the statements made by them, saying that it should be allowed to commemorate the day called Mahavir Day of the LTTE terrorist. The members point out that these speeches are giving encouragement for the revival of terrorism. Minister Dilan Pereira said that Mr. Siddharthan of Plot Organization is a provincial council member today. It was the terrorist LTTE that killed the beloved Plot leader Mr. Siddharthan in Bambalapitiya. He said that the TNA is an alliance of several Tamil organizations and political parties. He asked where is the leader of the tele-organization Sabaratnam today. The minister pointed out that it was the LTTE that killed the EPRLF leader Padmanathan, which is represented today by Suresh Premachandran. He asked on what status is Padmanathan on the so-called Mahavir Day. He said it is shame to mention these things. They have not allocated a day to commemorate Amirthalingam. They have not allocated a day to commemorate Tamil leaders killed by the Tiger terrorist. He said the question is how the TNA could commemorate Prabhakaran's birthday as a Mahavir Day when he was responsible for throwing away the school bags of Tamil children and forced them to act as child soldiers by giving them the AK-47 rifles. United People's Freedom Alliance parliamentarian Sajin Devas Gunawardena said that the Chief Minister of the Northern Province is a person of good character and he understands what should be done. However, he will not be allowed to function for a long time. It was the first salvo against him that he was fired by Siddharthan in the parliament, and it gave the message that they will not allow for Vigneshwaran to function for a long time, and it also conveys the message that they will revive Prabhakaran.
Meanwhile, China has reiterated that it would extend its fullest cooperation to Sri Lanka in the area of human rights. China has said that the rights of the Sri Lankan government to protect the human rights of its population should be respected by the international community. China issued a special statement yesterday vehemently condemning the biased policies adopted by certain countries against Sri Lanka under the guise of human rights protection. The Chinese statement has strongly condemned the politicization of human rights, the adopting of double standards by certain countries in this connection. The statement points out that the Sri Lankan government has taken several important steps to ensure human rights in the country and to establish reconciliation among communities. The statement further states that the international community has no moral right to disrupt this process. China has also assured that it would protect Sri Lanka's national independence, sovereignty and territorial integrity.
The Director General of the Postgraduate Institute of the Culinary University, Professor Gamini Adhikari, said that the Western society is seeking Buddhism surpassing the Asian society. The reason for this was that Buddhism clearly explained about pre-thinking philosophy and natural aspects of the world. The professor points out that the archaeological knowledge of Sri Lanka has contributed to the Lumbini excavations of Robin Cunningham. The professor made these comments addressing a media conference today about the views that had been expressed to the international media by Cunningham about his excavations in Lumbini. Cunningham is a professor connected to many archaeological excavations related to Buddhist tradition. It was Emperor Asoka who reigned in the period of 3rd century BC who identified several Buddhist traditional places after the Parinirvana of Lord Buddha and established towers in such places. The Ola leaf and the Ashoka tower that confirm the birth of Prince Siddhartha in the 6th century BC are available in Lumbini. Accordingly, the birth of Prince Siddhartha has taken place in the year 543 BC. Cunningham earlier believed that the birth of Prince Siddhartha has taken place in the 4th century BC. However, the archaeological excavations have proved that the birth was taken place in 6th century BC. The excavations carried out in the Maya Devi Vihara area have unearthed the parts of the sal tree that is believed to have supported Maya Devi in a childbirth and the wooden wall around it. Professor Gamini Adhikari said that it has been discovered now that the wooden wall is 550 years old. Director General of the Postgraduate Institute of the Culinary University, Professor Gamini Adhikari, said that there is an Ola leaf that has confirmed the location, and in that Ola leaf it is mentioned as Inda Buddha Jate. The meaning of this is that it was at this place that Prince Siddhartha was born. It was not Cunningham who carried out research on this matter for the first time. Mr. Dharanigala of Sri Lanka acted as an advisor in the first excavations. It was after that Cunningham has started doing research on the matter.
Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation will hold an almsgiving for 500 members of the Mahasangha tomorrow in connection with President Mahinda Rajapaksa's birthday, anniversary of accession to presidency and becoming chairman of the Commonwealth. The function will be held at the Rupavahini premises. All arrangements have been made for this almsgiving organized by Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation with the hope of protecting Buddhism in Sri Lanka. It is the Mahasangha, including the Anunayaka and Mahanayaka Theros, who will protect Buddhism in future. This was for the first time that a pinkam of this nature will be held. This is a special puja for young bhikkhus. This will also be the foundation for the Buddha Sasana for several years to come. This function will pave the way to safeguard the Buddha Sasana for the future as it was safeguarded for the last 2,500 years. Rupavahini thanked the Chief Presidential Staff, Gamini Senrat, for helping organize this function.
අවුරුදු 2300ක් ආරක්ෂා කරගත්ත බුද්ධ ශාසනය තවත් දුරට බෞද්ධ නායකයෙක් නායකත්වයට පත් වෙලා ඉන්න වෙලාවේ ඒ අරිතාලම දැමීම ලොකු දෙයක්. මම පින් දෙනවා අපේ ජනාධිපතිතුමාටත් ඒ කාර්යාංශයේ ප්‍රධානී ගාමිණී සනත් මැතිතුමාටත් මේ පින්කමට අපිට උපකාර කිරීම ගැන. දානමය පුණ්‍ය කර්මයක් හරියාකාරයෙන් සිදුවන්නේ කොහොමද? Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation is organizing this function to promote Buddhism and to express our blessings to the President. 75 chefs are voluntarily participating in the almsgiving. They have said that they will make their contribution for this kind of activities in future voluntarily.
ඉතින් එයාලා සුව කැමැත්තෙන් ආපු පිරිසක් තමයි අද අපිත් සමග ඉන්නේ මේ ජාතික නාලිකාව අද මේ තබපු පියවරත් එක්ක ඉදිරියේදී මේ වගේ වෙන ඕනම වැඩ කටයුත්තකට ලංකාවේ අපේ දායකත්වය ලබා දෙන්න සියලු දෙනාම බොහොම කැමැත්තෙන්.
The Rupavahini Corporation is happy to organize this alms giving, setting an example to the country in this connection. It is essential to protect our Samaneras, that is they who will protect Buddha Sasana in the future. You too can participate in the program through National Rupavahini.
සාමණේරයන් වහන්සේ 500 නමකගෙන් පෙරී ඉතිරි යනවා. ජාතික රූපවාහිනියත් සමගින් හෙට උදේ 10:30ට ඔබ සජීවීව එකතු වෙනවා නම් මහත්ඵල මහානිසංස ලබා දෙන මේ මහඟු පුණ්‍ය කර්මයට නිවස.
The annual commemoration lecture of late Mr. D.A. Rajapaksa was held at Temple Trees yesterday under the patronage of President Mahinda Rajapaksa. The commemoration lecture was delivered by attorney-at-law Lionel Fernando, who was a former ambassador, a former governor of the Northeast and a senior member of the Sri Lanka Administrative Service. The Rajapaksa Commemoration Educational, Cultural and Social Service Foundation organized the annual commemoration lecture series. Today's lecture was held under the leadership of former President of the Sri Lanka Surgeons Association and senior member of the Royal Surgeons Association and award-winning Professor A.H. Sheriffdeen. Minister Mervyn Silva and retired Education Director P.G. Ratnaik offered floral tributes to the statue of late D.A. Rajapaksa. The Rusara Foundation of Giruvaya presented the D.A. Rajapaksa commemoration song. Speaker Chamal Rajapaksa presented the commemoration medal to the keynote speaker. The keynote speaker of the function, attorney-at-law Lionel Fernando, delivered his keynote address under the theme of lessons learned from public service and social integration to attain supremacy in the public service beyond year 2014. Senior award-winning surgeon Professor H. Sheriffdeen delivered the lecture of the chair. Members of the D.A. Rajapaksa Commemoration Committee, members of the Rajapaksa family, ministers, parliamentarians, scholars and artists attended the function.
The chief incumbent of Sri Pada and Rajamahawihare of Palmadulla, the most venerable Bengamwe Sri Dhammadina Thera, has been bestowed with the post of Chancellor of the Uva Wellassa University. The venerable Thera assumed duties at that university this morning. The most venerable Bengamwe Sri Dhammadina Thera received Upasampada from the director of the Palmadulla and Podgul Rajamahavihares. The Thera has passed excellently the examinations of Saddharmacharya and Tripitakacharya. The Thera held the director posts of the Palmadulla Rajamahawihara and Karangoda Podgul Rajamahawihara. In recognition of his profound service to the Sasana and the society, the Karaka Sabha of Malvatu Mahavihara offered him the post of Korala Sanganayaka in the year 1996. Members of the Mahasangha, the Vice Chancellor of the Uva Wellassa University and several others attended the function of assuming duties by the Venerable Thera.
The new ambassadors to Sri Lanka from Afghanistan and Thailand presented their credentials to President Mahinda Rajapaksa at the Presidential Secretariat this morning. The new ambassadors were escorted to the Presidential Secretariat by a special motorcade. Nopon Adcheri Yavanich is the new ambassador of Thailand and he presented his credentials to the President. Mr. Azizuddin Ahmad Sada was appointed as the new ambassador to Sri Lanka from Afghanistan. Minister Professor G.L. Pires and Secretary to the President Lalit Veeratunga also attended the function. Meanwhile, Norway has commended efforts made by the government to normalize life in the northern province. This commendation was delivered by Norwegian ambassador to Sri Lanka, Mrs. Great Lochain, when she met President Mahinda Rajapaksa at Temple Trees this morning. She also commended the holding of the provincial council election in the north. The president informed the ambassador that it is his intention to work in close cooperation with the new provincial council. Exporters have expressed gratitude meanwhile to the government for granting them many concessions in the budget. The chairman of the Sri Lanka Exporters Association, Dr. Jagat Piris, and several other exporters met the president this morning and expressed their gratitude. They also discussed with the president the future activities of the export sector. Secretary to the President, Lalit Veeratunga, and Secretary to the Ministry of Finance, Dr. P. Vijayasundara, attended the occasion.
The two military vessels belonging to the Japanese Navy, Samudara DD-106 and Zazanami DD-113, arrived in the Colombo port yesterday. The vessels, which are on a visit to strengthen friendship between navies of Sri Lanka and Japan, were warmly welcomed by the officials of Sri Lanka Navy. These two Japanese vessels belong to the destroyer type, and there are 190 crew members working in the vessels.
Good morning. Welcome. 1, 3.
Meanwhile, the INS Shivalik vessel of the Indian Navy also arrived in the Colombo port on the 27th of this month. This vessel was also warmly received by the officials of Sri Lanka Navy. It has also arrived in the country to further strengthen the naval relations between India and Sri Lanka.
And there are the same things are available back home.
Meanwhile, the cycle tour titled Giruwa Pattuven Thala Aranata, organized in connection with President Mahinda Rajapaksa's birthday and the anniversary of accession to presidency, has ended. This is the longest cycle tour to be held in South Asia after a lapse of 23 years. The president witnessed the finishing of the cycle tour. It ended near Temple Trees. The tour was organized by the National Youth Services Council and the Giruwa Pattuven Thala Aranata organization. The cycle tour began on the 18th of this month and it completed a distance of 1,338 kilometers. It was held under 12 stages. The first place in the tour was won by Tushara Rajapaksa of the Sri Lanka Army. Lakshman Jeyaratne, also from the Sri Lanka Army, came second. Sajid Hasanta of Sri Lanka Navy came third. The President extended his warm wishes to the winners.
A well-known Sri Lankan educationalist, a former State Secretary for Ministry of Education, Chairman of Gateway Group of School and Founder Principal of DSA Nanaka College, R.I.T. Alas, has passed away. He was 81 years of age. The late Ralph Ignatius Thomas Alas was born on 3rd October in Gaul. He was educated at St. Aloysius College, Gaul and St. Anthony's College, Kandy. He started his career as a teacher and became the assistant principal of Royal College, Colombo, and helped to establish DSA Nanaka Vidyalaya in Colombo and became its first principal. The college was established in a barren land in the Kumbikale area of Burella with 2 temporary buildings and with 167 students. He dedicated his life to make this school a leading school in the country. He was the State Secretary of the Ministry of Education from 1989 to 1993. He was also the chairman of the Gateway Group of Schools. He was ailing for some time and passed away last night. The funeral will be held at the Burella Cemetery on Wednesday. The body of the late Mr. Alas will be kept at DSA Nanaka Vidyalaya from 8:30 to 12 noon on Sunday for the people to pay their last respect, and it will be kept 12 noon to 4 p.m. on that day at the Gateway School. At 4 p.m. it will be brought to the Burella Cemetery for funeral. Prime Minister D.M. Jayaratne and several ministers and parliamentarians paid their last respects to the body of the late Mr. Alas today.
The Ison comet has been destroyed by the heat of the sun. Astronomers said that the comet was destroyed by the heat of the sun at around 2:30 a.m. Sri Lanka time today. The comet approached the sun from outer space at a speed of about 1 million kilometers per hour. Scientists predicted earlier that it could be destroyed in the sun's heat zone. However, they believe that due to the high speed of the comet, it could go out of the heat zone as well. Nonetheless, it was destroyed since it went closer to the heat zone.
The comet, which was moving faster than 217 miles per second as it approached the sun, is believed to have been vaporized. What isn't clear at this point is whether the heat destroyed the entire comet. The one thing scientists do know about ISON is that it is no ordinary comet. Any if ISON did survive the close encounter, it should be visible to the naked eye in the next week or so.
Sri Lanka has won 3 gold medals from the junior section events of the Commonwealth weightlifting tournament. Sri Lankan weightlifting have also won 1 silver medal and 3 bronze medals in the senior section of the events. The tournament is being held in Malaysian city of Penang. Tilanga Palagasinghe has won 1 gold medal in the junior section and 1 silver medal in the senior section. Sashika Ekanayaka has won 1 gold medal, creating a new record in the junior section. Dinuda Abesekara has won 1 gold medal, creating a new Sri Lankan record as well. This is the first time that a Sri Lankan woman weightlifter has won a gold medal in a weightlift event. Sangeeta Vijaysurya, Indika Disanayaka and PK Dayan have won bronze medals in the senior section of the events. Australia and New Zealand will play against each other in the Rugby World Cup tournament to be held tomorrow. This is the 3rd time that these 2 teams are facing each other in the Rugby World Cup tournament. In the match played in year 2000, Australia became the winner with a score of 40-12, and in 2010, New Zealand became the winner with a score of 34-20. The semi-finals of the tournaments was held last week. In this, Australia defeated Fiji Island by 64-0, and New Zealand defeated the host country England by 20-18. Australians have announced a squad of 19 players for the final match tomorrow, and New Zealand coach Stephen Kearney has said that they will enter the finals by overcoming the weakness in the team.
Wasn't real good at certain they're a very consistent team, and you regard them as the best going around.
And with that we end tonight's bulletin. Thank you for joining us. Do join us tomorrow for more, and have a pleasant weekend. Good night.
Good night.